How do there, guys, and welcome back to Edgar TV, and today it is predictions time. This time of year is always exciting as the World Championship comes round. One of the big things that come at the back end of the World Championship is the announcement of the players that will be playing in the Premier League. Now, before the World Championships and after the World Championships and during the World Championships, this is going to change, I'm sure, because a big run in this event changes everything. Look what it's done for people in the past. People like Jamie Lewis got to the semi-final and went from not being qualified to being someone who was discussed about being in the Premier League to playing in front of 20,000 people in Germany in a World Series event. So a good run at the World Championships can change everything for a career. Now, with that in mind, we've got to look at pre-World Championships. Who are the interesting players that, if they have a good run at the World Championships, will be considered? Who are already, I think, are definitely in there? The first thing to remember with the Premier League is actually the top four in the world are the only guarantees. At the moment, this is the top four players in the world. Gerwyn Price, Michael van Gerwen, Peter Wright and James Wade. James Wade could get knocked out of those positions during the World Championships, but it's highly unlikely. And even if he does get knocked out of those positions, as the UK Open champion, you'd expect him to get in as a major winner. What I'm going to do for this video is, you see I put this red line across the middle. Everyone who I put above this line, I think is an absolute guarantee, and their place is confirmed. People I put below it, I think are going to be those players who probably need a good World Championship or are debatable players in terms of where we're going to go with this. So those four players, guaranteed, top four players in the world, impossible, the rules say they're in. Also, Johnny Clayton, defending Premier League champion. We saw last year with Glenn Durrant going in as a defending champion, not in that top four, and also has won 4 major titles this year, or 4 TV titles, should we say, this year. So Johnny Clayton for me goes above the red line as well, and that gives us half the lineup already. Sticking with the theme of major winners, that has to be Rob Cross as well, European champion, been playing some good stuff as of late. Wouldn't be surprised to see him have a good run at the World Championships. Although with Rob Cross, I don't think it's dependent on the World Championships. I think Rob Cross is in regardless. Rob Cross goes above that red line. Now, as you can see, that's all I think is a guarantee at the moment. Now, normally at this stage of the year, there's lots of talking points and there's loads of different discussions about who are your guarantees. I think there's 6. That's all we've got, 6 confirmed players, which means I think there are 4 places still available, and the World Championships will dictate who gets those 4 places. First person we need to discuss on this potential lineup is Fallon Sherrock. Now, this isn't something I agree with, but as part of the predictions, it has to be in there. And this, for me, became even more evident last night when she withdrew from the WDF Women's World Championship. Now, this is complete speculation, I know, but there was a few years ago, Mark Henry, WWF wrestler, WWE wrestler, wanted to go and do the World's Strongest Man because he was getting a lot of stick from people within that industry about being the World's Strongest Man and claiming he was. So he wanted to go back and prove that he still was the World's Strongest Man. Vince McMahon turned around to him at that point and said, "I'll let you go to do the World's Strongest Man, but remember there is no space in the WWE for the second strongest man in the world." When I saw that withdrawal last night, I instantly thought of that line because I thought, is this a case of there is no space in the Premier League for the second best or the third best female dart player in the world? And if she goes there and loses, then that potentially could affect this. Now, I do think she'll be in as a Sky pick. Now, this is a way around this as well. A lot of people saying like the PDC pick it and things. It's not all the PDC. Sky get picks as well. And I do think that she'll be in as a Sky pick, not a PDC pick. So I'm going to put her in the lineup as possibilities. I personally think she's in. I don't think the World Championship has much bearing on it, but I've got to put her down in that possibility bracket at the moment rather than in the guarantees. Another one to consider here is Raymond van Barneveld. 5-time world champion, had a year off as a retirement, came back. He's back in the top 64. He'll be at the World Championship. Now, the interest was gauged around him recently at the Grand Slam when he was there. If he gauges the same level of interest in the World Championship and has a bit of a run there, you never know, he could be getting one of those wildcard places. And like I said, it's not all the PDC's doing and the PDC's pick. Sky get a pick as well, and he's an interesting player for Sky TV. He has to go in that possibilities at the bottom there section. Next two have to be in there. Next two in the rankings. You've got to have number 5 and number 6 in the rankings as possibilities here. Jose de Souza and Dimitri van den Berg. Last year, both picked up major titles. Currently sat 5th and 6th in the rankings. A good World Championship. You'd have to think they'd be contenders to go in there, especially as Jose de Souza is the runner-up from last year. Up next, we've got fellow Loxley teammate and my roommate Ryan Searle. Has a fantastic year. He's just going up the rankings, up the gears all the time. He's now into the world's top 16. He's had a recent major final, losing out by just 24 points to Peter Wright. Sat on double 12 with Peter Wright going out 1 dart in hand to win the title. If not, he'd have won that title and you'd probably would have put him up above the red line and made him a guarantee. I think a good World Championship, he has to be considered. He's exciting to watch. Got a decent image, good look. Definitely a contender in the mix. I think the World Championships will decide whether he goes in or he doesn't. Gary Anderson, I think, is pretty much a certainty, barring the fact that one, he might not want to, or the other fact of if he has a terrible Worlds, that could maybe rule him out. But I think just an average Worlds is enough for him. I'm going to put a little green line around Gary Anderson, because he's not quite above the red line, but I can't see Gary Anderson not being in the Premier League. I just can't see it. Luke Humphries is another one I think has got to be considered. He got a runner-up in the UK Open. He's now seen in all the majors. He's a future world champion for sure. Great player. I think a good World Championship could quite easily see him in that contenders. So that's who I think it's at the moment before the World Championship to be picked from, and I think the World Championship will dictate a few of those. But if I had to dwindle it down now and give you my lineup of 10, there it is. Off the bottom, Fallon, Jose, Dimi and Gary Anderson, I would say, would be the 4 people to go in with the top 4 and the 2 major winners there outstanding so far this year. That's my Premier League lineup. So that's what I think. What do you think, though? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree? Is there someone else you think should be in there? Or is there just someone you would like to see in the Premier League lineup? Again, let me know in the comment section below. And as you go past to the comment section, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you soon for some more Edgar TV.